So unfortunately, being out in the bush, sometimes terrible things happen, and this is one of those things that it happens quite frequently, and it is a flat tire. Oh dear. So this particular Land Rover that we are using is my dad's, and of course my dad doesn't do anything in half measures, so you have the world's heaviest wheel spanner. Literally probably weighs nearly a kg. So what you want to do is, first things first, before you start jacking, you want to loosen the nuts. That one's very tight. I'll come back to that one. Oh, this is going to be a hard one. There we go. Of course, it always happens on the hottest day of the year. Well, not quite the hottest day of the year, but when it's nice and toasty. You never have to change tires when it's nice and cool. Dad's road building chain is in the way. Okay, so before you do anything with a Highlift jack, put something behind the wheels, the back wheels if you're lifting the front, just to make sure it doesn't roll. Now, believe it or not, more people get seriously injured by Highlift jacks in Africa every year than by lions, elephants, or any other animal. Okay, so it's down. Okay, now we're ready to go up. Now they are notoriously finicky like this. Now it doesn't want to go. There we go. Oh, okay. They are not very fun Highlift jacks. They're very useful when you get stuck. Let's try this again. There we go. It's being very irritating. So normally you're not supposed to do that manually, it's supposed to just click up, but this one is deciding to be difficult. You must be very careful where you put your head. They're notorious for slipping out. We're on some nice solid flat ground here, so it's not too much of an issue. How are we looking? Not quite there yet. Oh, now it's... Oh, I thought it was going to work by itself for a second. No such luck. So, now comes one of the most important things. You can see these tires are absolutely massive and very heavy, but not as heavy as a car. So when you change a tire, when you know you're getting to the time where it's up, you always put the spare underneath the chassis. So if you're down under the car and the jack slips, which they do from time to time, the car's not going to crush your legs. Should be nearly there. Maybe one more for good measure. There we go. Okay. Now this is the point where you've got to be most careful. Now you've dealt with the jack, which is quite dangerous, but of course this whole massive heavy vehicle has been held up by a little piece of steel, and they are notorious, as I say, for slipping or falling off. And you obviously, unless you are a bodybuilder, it's very difficult to lift these tires and put them straight on. So what you do now is you take this one off, and now the only thing that is stopping the vehicle from, in case it falls, is the new tire we're putting on. So we remove this one out and we put this on, and you've got to make sure the rim is under the chassis, so if it falls onto the rim of the tire. Now, you will find a lot of people who try to be heroes, and as I said, these tires are massively heavy, and they try to lift them on. And what happens is you actually bump the car, hit the car, and it can cause the car to fall on you. So the sensible way is you get it as close as you can, like that. Then you sit down, because your legs are much stronger than your arms. So you just do this, lift it easily with your legs, and you just slide it on. Much easier and much safer than trying to be a big hero and lift it on, except we're not high enough yet. Are we? No, we need to go higher on the jack still. So as I say, these tires are very big. See, now this is where it's getting pretty precarious. You can see the car is leaning, because you never get flat tires where it's perfectly smooth. That should be high enough now. Let's have another look. There we go. And the sand out. Now, as a normal rule, when you do this, you tighten one till it's just hand tight. You tighten it later once it's back on the ground. There we go. So just hand tight, and then you tighten the one opposite. If you start tightening the one over there, what happens is, because this is tight, you can't actually get in nicely. So this just makes sure all of them go on even, and you don't have a shaky tire while you're trying to. There we go. So it's tight now, and you can't actually tighten it properly while it's still off the ground. Now let's hope the jack is going to work nicely on the way down, better than it did on the way up. But now at this stage you can take the spare out. Even if it falls off the jack, it's got a tire to land on. Doesn't want to go down. Of course it doesn't want to go down. So when they do this, they do become a bit of a problem. You actually have to I hate high lift jacks. They're the worst things in the world. That spring's not releasing. Yeah. So sometimes it's just a bit of dust. So a lot of people like to spray Q20 oil or stuff on there. It actually makes it worse because as soon as you're driving, the dust just gets attached. There's of course another way to do this, but it's not a very good way. So the not very good way is the way we're going to have to do it. There we go. Not working! Oh dear. One more should do it. So don't actually ever do this unless you know exactly what you're doing with a high lift jack. So because the down mechanism is not working via move, I'm making it fall and kick out. There we go. So unless you really know what you're doing, don't do that at home. That is how not to take a high lift jack down. Now watch, the down mechanism will work perfectly with no weight. Still not, eh? Let's take it to the workshop. Have to take it to the workshop and see what we can do when we get home. Hey.
Take this down, get it fixed.